guys, how are you doing? It's Kat at Spiritual Candy with the next in the Musing series. So this video is all about how to deal with things when you are an empath, how to deal with that, how to not get dragged down by other people's energies, and just basically how to keep yourself really healthy if you're an empath. Okay, the first point I would make is to know your own boundaries. You know what's a yes for you, know what's a no for you, know what's a maybe for you, and be really clear with yourself about where your boundaries are, because that's going to help you. When you're in a situation or a circumstance where there's a lot of energies going on around you and you feel very kind of overwhelmed by other people's emotions, etc. And sometimes as well, it might even be quite difficult to say what's mine and what's somebody else's. The first point I would make is know your own boundaries, okay? If you're in a circumstance or situation where you're surrounded by people who've got really strong energies, or you're in a circumstance where you're not actually sure what belongs to you and what is somebody else's, having a real clear idea of your own boundaries and etc. is going to help you, because then it will help you to know what's yours and what's somebody else's. So be really clear. This is a yes for me. This is a no for me. This is a maybe for me. So really get to know in circumstances where you're not being drained, where you're not with people that are draining, or in situations that are potentially draining, that you already know where your yeses basically lie, where your nos basically lie, and where your maybes basically lie. I'm oversimplifying here, of course, but if you've really got a good understanding of yourself and in those circumstances, it's going to help you a lot, because then when you're in a situation you think, oh, I don't really know how I feel about this because I'm kind of overwhelmed by other people's energies, etc. You can kind of be like almost the parent to yourself in this situation, and step in and say, hang on, let's remove ourselves from this situation. No, we're not going to do that. Or yes, let's go and do this, etc. This is kind of an extension of the first point, really, which is know what you like, know who you are, know what your preferences are, and stick to them. Yes, okay, we're always going to be open to intuition, etc. But we're talking about when you're in a circumstance with somebody who has a very strong energy and you're picking up lots of energy from other people. So it's kind of like an extension of know your own boundaries, but it's kind of like knowing where your preferences lie, and be really clear about that, because I find that in a situation where it gets suddenly very overwhelming or there's a lot of people around, it can be really, really hard to stay tethered to that. So energetically, it can be easy to get pulled off. So just be really aware of your preferences. Okay, so they're kind of like things you need to do in the circumstance when you're interacting with someone, and empathically speaking, you feel kind of like you're kind of being dragged in a little bit. So what can you do when you've dealt with those boundaries, when you've got your preferences and you know where you are, and you've done that initial work? Then what? Okay, it's about coming back into the inner body, okay? Really back into there. So you can do this through breathing techniques, through knowing, hang on a minute, I'm getting drawn in. I need to make, excuse myself and go outside for 5 minutes, and just recenter yourself. Breathing is the easiest, quickest and simplest way, particularly if you're very stressed, particularly if there's a lot going on, okay? Because it's the simplest, it's the easiest. You just take yourself inwards, notice your breath, in and out, okay? I always use so hum. So on the in, hum on the out. And it really just, recenters yourself. You can also use all those techniques, feeling your inner body, feeling through your fingertips, up through your arms, up from your toes, up through into your body. I find as well that if I'm in a circumstance with a lot of people and I can't excuse myself, just simple things like squeezing my hands together, just bringing myself back into my body, being, inner awareness, basically. Drawing yourself back inwards is a great technique. Another point that's kind of obvious in a way is practice. Practice it. Be conscious of it. So when you're with somebody that knocks you off a bit, so they've got a very heavy energy, or they're in a difficult situation, or you just feel very drawn by their energy and you start to feel a little bit pulled into that. Practice. Practice as often as you can. And ideally, when you feel it a little bit with somebody, but you can normally just kind of go with it, and then afterwards do a little cleansing meditation or whatever. Instead of doing that, practice trying to go into your inner self and anchor yourself in yourself, okay, rather than getting drawn in. So practice with easy people and situations first. Don't be surprised if you don't pay much attention to coming back into your inner body and inner self, if when you're in a really draining situation. It's like a muscle. Everything needs practice. Everything we do, we have to train ourselves to do. Okay, so be aware of that and do practice with easy situations and people, etc. first, and then gradually build yourself up. If you notice, I've kind of really made it very much something that we do rather than is done to us. I feel that it's so much more helpful, so much more healthy, and so much more sensible to see this as a practice that we have been doing. This isn't something that is happening to us, it's something that we're tapping into. Because we can hear in whatever way hear means to you, other people's situations, emotions, feelings, energetic states. We kind of because we're caring and sensitive as empaths, we kind of go out, this is how I see it, is we kind of go out and we hook into it. And I think this is so much more helpful than seeing it as I am this, almost like porous entity that other people can come and dump all their stuff inside. Because this makes you a victim, it makes you powerless, it makes it a difficult situation. I personally have found that I have changed my whole situation, and I've used this way of thinking about it. And I don't get drawn in. I mean, I do sometimes, but nothing like I used to. So what I'm saying is, this way of looking at it does work. A lot of the time when I'm on the internet and reading things, it's got that sort of victim element of I'm an empath and people come and I don't even know. People are leaving bits of themselves inside me, and it's kind of weird and it's kind of scary, and I just don't see it like that at all. I see it as that you are in control of this situation. You need to show some discipline and show some self-control and just be aware of what you are going out and hooking into, okay? And really bringing yourself back into your inner space is really crucial, and doing all those self-care things. I absolutely think that when you do feel overloaded, any sort of cleansing and clearing meditation is absolutely excellent. And will really help you. It helps me tremendously too. Going inside of yourself, like I've said, really helps. When I do readings and when I'm going to be in a situation with a lot of people, I do ask Archangel Michael to put a purple and gold light around me to help me to not either transmit my energies to other people or theirs to me. And I would recommend doing clearing and cleansing meditations if you do feel like you have picked up other people's energies. But what I'm saying is, I think we can change our mindset about it, and instead of seeing it as other people's energies are kind of coming at us and we're kind of soaking them up like a sponge, see it that we are kind of, yes, that is what's happening, but we're actually in control of that. And that if we can be aware of that and not go out and hook into people, it will help as well. Because I think sometimes we don't realise, even though we don't agree with what somebody's saying or agree with their energetic speak, if you like, that we're still, by paying so much close attention and feeling so much, empathy for them, that we're getting drawn in, So if we're really strong in our core, in our story, in what we're doing, in what we believe, then we're less likely to get stuck in their energy. Guys, I hope you found something in this video that was helpful to you. I hope you have an amazing week. I'll see you on the next video. Mwah!